What's going on, team? It's a wonderful day. Make sure I hit that wonderful, wonderful. Have a good day, guys. What's going on? It's another wonderful day at a Brodacious Life. I'm super glad that you're here. This is kind of an extras episode, if you will. I'm super excited about it. Something magical happened today that doesn't happen very often, and I'm really excited about it. And it happens only one time of year, and it's just a magical time. And you may think, Jonathan, I know you're talking about Christmas. I know you're talking about Christmas. I'm not talking about Christmas. I'm talking about the other favorite time of the year for us homesteaders and people who work on the farm. It's seed catalog time. And one of my favorite seed catalogs came in the mail today. And I just could not wait to share it. We'll figure we kind of flip through it together a little bit. We'll kind of see what's going on in here. This one is from, again, Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. You can go to their website, and that is at www.southernexposure.com. And you can go to their website. You can request, to receive a catalog. You put in your information. It comes for absolutely free. It does you absolutely no harm by just getting one, looking at it, and seeing what the big fuss is all about. So this is one of my favorites. I kind of always like the designs on them. You can kind of see the little gnomes and stuff. Uh, I think they're making tomatoes, or squishing tomatoes, crushing tomatoes with their feet, having that Lucille Ball moment. I enjoy it. I enjoy it. So, what's great about Southern Exposure for those of us who are like me, you're in kind of that zone eight, kind of the southeast. These guys create seeds specifically for us. And I know that their seeds are going to be tested, they're true, they're going to be fantastic. So I'm just going to flip through. We'll kind of talk about some of the great items that they have. They have all kinds of cool stuff. So don't feel like, oh, Jonathan, I'm not really into that. It's perfectly fine. It's just a really, really good book. And at any kind of seed that you're looking for, it's here. So with that said, get a little bit of give some hype juice, aka some water. I can't tip it far enough for you to see. I assure you, it's water. I'm not having that kind of fun juice today. So first section, it's always in alphabetical order, but it has beans, lots of different types of beans. And what I like about Southern Seed Exposure is they have lots of items that are heritage. They're not just I don't want to say GMO because GMO is a bad word, but they're not the hybrid. That's the word I'm looking for. They have lots of true heritage beans and items that are out here. I've got my handy dandy pencil. So we're going to circle the things that I'm going to order. Artichokes, that's a no go for us. But they have lots of different types of beans. And beans is one of those things that I get pretty hype on. We go through a lot of beans. Now, for those of you who haven't seen, they have these beans right here. These are Taiwan yard beans. They are absolutely fantastic. They grow like weeds out here. They're very prolific growers, and they make these crazy fun. They're literally like a yard long bean. You can kind of slice them into little sections. They're really fun, and the kids love them too because they're kind of like it's kind of like rope. They kind of play with it. They'll even braid it a little bit. They kind of have fun with it. But all different types of beans. They got fava beans, lima beans, pole beans, of course, and then we getting into the broccolis and beets. Of course, they got your golden beets. They got all beets. Dwight Schrute would be happy. There's beets everywhere in here. But there's just lots of cool products from carrots, corn. Oh man, we don't really grow corn on our farm, by the way. I know this is one of those things where I know corn has grown a lot in my area. Corn is one of those things that grows so well from other people. I've never had success at it, so I just let other people grow it. Two, I don't really eat that much corn. I don't find corn makes me feel good on the inside after I eat corn. I don't know very many people who do feel good after eating corn. Not very many animals do good after eating corn either. It's not something that we naturally eat. But so yeah, they got lots of corn. Of course, they got like the quote unquote Indian corn is what a lot of people call it. But the Pungo Creek Butcher, and look at these Kentucky rainbows. Look at all these different colored corns that they have. That's pretty cool, right? Lots of cool products. Lots of cool products. So kind of we'll skip around. We'll skip around. So I'm not going too much into it. Eggplants, of course. Kale's a great item that we're gonna have. And again, oh, kohlrabi. A lot of people kind of misunderstand kohlrabi. They do have lots of lettuces as well. Lots of cool lettuces from Russian Red, uh, Paris Island Cross, Sweet Valentines, just great products. Okra is something that we do buy from Southern Exposure. We've had great success with their Alabama Red. Alabama Red's just grown like hotcakes out here. It's always a slow starter, but man, when it catches up, it is out of this world good. Onions is one of those things that we don't grow a lot of, but absolutely enjoy, being able to buy. Being from Georgia, I get very spoiled by Vidalia onions. And if you haven't had the chance to have a Vidalia onion, beware out there because there's impersonators. It's kind of like champagne. Champagne can only come from the Champagne region of France. Vidalia onions only come from Vidalia, Georgia. They're not from Idaho. They're not from Iowa. Vidalia onions should be from Vidalia, Georgia. And if they're not, they're a poser. And it's just a really sweet onion. And that's my favorite onion. That's what I like. They're sweet. I can caramelize them really well. They have lots of flavor. They do have some bite to them. So when I need to have that edge to it, I can have that edge in my dish. Of course, they have like shelling peas and leeks and garlic. Now they're getting into like the cowpeas, peppers. Oh my goodness. Look at all those peppers. Man, 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 man. Yellow bell. Of course, there's the Melrose. We've grown the Corno de Toros before. That is these right there. They did really well, really spicy. Cayennes, Hungarian paprika. We want to be doing a little bit more of our own dehydrating and making our own spices. That would be a lot of fun. They got ancho chilies in here. I'm wondering if they're going to do the Carolina Reaper in here. I've seen that pop up here and there. I don't use it. Now, my grandfather would grow it for actually deer repellent. He would get a mix of hot, spicy peppers. He'd make this slurry with it and with water, and then he would pump that, strain it, and then pump that over with a sprayer over his vegetables to keep the deer out. Deer and insects. And he also grew tobacco, not to smoke, but there's not an animal out there that naturally eats tobacco. Tobacco really is almost insect repellent. So he would make like the same idea. He'd get his tobacco plants, he would brew them into water, and then he would spray it over his plants. Never had insect problems at all. It's sad when insects know what's better for us than we do. Insects and animals won't touch tobacco. I've never seen it. There might be someone out there who disagrees with me. Maybe they've had an experience, but what we've seen, the plants that are sprayed with tobacco just never get touched. And the same thing with the spicy stuff. The only problems that you have with the spicy, especially, is when it rains, it can wash all that off. So after raining, you got to kind of go out there and hit it back up again. Lots of cool peppers, some rhubarb, winter squash. I don't really do a winter garden. I know that's a sad thing to say, but we've just never had success doing it. I think that they're great. I encourage you to do it. We actually have about 30 to 45 butternut squash that we grew this year because winter vegetables are actually vegetables that you just grow in, late summer through the fall. And then you kind of just pick them as you need them or before the first frost. So we have a bunch of butternut squash here. That's kind of our winter harvest. Now, this is my favorite section, or my favorite section of the whole book. I did not grow up liking tomatoes. I'd never really had true tomatoes growing up. I've always had the hybrids. And then I worked at this restaurant called The Hill in Serenbe. It's a restaurant outside of Atlanta. Everything there came off the farms there in Serenbe. And that was the first time I tried an heirloom tomato. and it is a completely different experience, texture, sweetness, acidity, everything than a just a hybrid tomato that you get from your big box store. So like your brandy wines, um, pineapple, there's zebra, there's all kinds of different tomatoes that are there's literally like 5 pages of tomatoes. And there's a reason for that. A lot of people don't know that there is hundreds, if not thousands, of different types of tomato varieties. We just see a red tomato, and some few people may know about a yellow tomato, but they rarely people just don't know about all of these unless you're really into gardening and things like that. But we've done yellow golds. We've done a lot of these different types of tomatoes. The striped Roman. I know this is a drawing, but they really do come out exactly like that coloring you see there with the yellow and the red. They're absolutely beautiful, San Marzano style, great for making pasta sauce. Of course, there's all these different types of cherry tomatoes. We grow cherry tomatoes insanely well here. We grow them actually better than we do any other type of tomato variety that we have. Watermelon, we had some great success with watermelon this past year. I'm into the herb section now. Herbs, just great herbs that they have available. You know, bergamot, basil. They have one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 types. Oh, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 different types of basil right here. So again, everybody just thinks of that sweet giant leaf basil that you get at the store, and that's fine, whatever. But that's normally mammoth basil, but there is lots of different basil that's out there. I like Thai basils and I like Thai basils and lemon basil. And there is some cinnamon basil in here that's really good too. We had a plant out here, but we had it in a raised pot out here on the back porch, and I think the dogs killed it. I think the dogs are roughing around out there, to kind of give the plant some credit. It was probably my animals that killed it more than anything else. But they do care like everything from like echinacea, dill, chives, lemon balm, lots of different types of mint. They do have a couple of different types of medicinal herbs and things that they keep around, like ginseng and golden seal. I don't know much about that stuff too much. I don't really get into a whole lot of herbal stuff. I have herbal things here. I believe in an all natural diet. I believe in all natural pills and all that kind of stuff. I try to do everything all natural as much as possible, but I don't trust myself to know what's what. I typically go to a professional to do that for me. Side caveat. But yeah, everything from savory, there's soapwort, there's turmeric, ginger, sage, and then we kind of go into the flowers. This is another thing that they do insanely well. We love sunflowers at our house, so we will have lots of different sunflower varieties. This is just they have cover crops. For those who don't know what cover crops are, especially when you get into the wintertime, they're going to put a crop down that looks a lot like grass. You put it down over, and what happens is before it goes out to seed, you're going to chop that up and chop that down into the soil, and it's going to add nutrients into your soil. So it's a great way for over the winter time for you to add nutrients into your soil and block out the herbs. So it's kind of a 2-for-1 deal. And then at the back end, it just has lots of great growing guides. I have several of these books, which makes me laugh. I have the Market Gardener. I have the No Till Farming Revolution. I'm excited. I have several of these books. And then they have the supplies, everything from corn shellers, row cover bags, you name it, they've got it. Oh, a little potato section. Potatoes are one of those things that we've had some mixed results on. But I just want to encourage you. Again, it's www.southernexposure.com. Get you a free magazine. I'm not getting anything from them. They are not a sponsor of this podcast at all. It's just a great company that I use to go get really good seeds. I have 3 that I'm really die hard on. Southern Exposure Seed. I go to Haas Tools, and then Baker Seeds, which if you're online, that's rareseeds.com. Those are my three go-tos. That's where I get all of my seeds. We'll occasionally pick some up out of randomness with the kids at a Lowe's or a Home Depot or one of those guys. But these are mostly where we get our seeds because soon we'll be showing you here in the next month, probably at the end of January, beginning of February. Back behind me, where this Christmas tree now stands, will be a 5-tier growing lamps, and we'll start our seeds in here starting at the beginning of February and getting them ready. I don't have a greenhouse just yet, so we grow everything under heat lamp or under growing lamps. It looks like a other farm cannabis. It looks weird for those who aren't used to it. A lot of people get weirded out by that. That there's, oh man, there's. It looks like you're growing weed in there, man. No, it's I'm growing herbs. You're gonna have a tough time smoking it. So I always just encourage people. If anyone can start from seeds. I don't always recommend it to everybody who's brand new, but it is easy to do. It's something that you have available at your house. And again, it's that time of year. Be thinking about it. Hopefully, again, we talk about a lifestyle design. Lifestyle design for me, obviously, it means something different to you. This is a big, important part of my lifestyle design. Is I like to eat all natural food. I like to grow what I eat. I like to know what I eat. This is my preference. I hope I'm not sounding too preachy on, I want you to stop going to wherever and getting your stuff and growing it on your own. I recognize that what I do is not for everybody. Dr. J will be the first one to tell you that that stuff's not for him. He does a little bit of stuff here and there. His daughter really gets in on growing a couple things. But all of that to say is now's the time if you're really into that. Now's the time to be looking into it, finding out what you're going to be growing, getting all of your stuff. You got to know. Excuse me. You got to know when these things go in the ground, what temperatures they got to be. And it takes a little bit of research. Most of it, when it comes with the seed from these guys, it'll have the description on how many days to maturity and what temperature and the conditions it needs to be outside for you to plant and to take it outside. So you can learn a lot by just going to their website, seeing a lot of their materials. When you look at the seeds online, it tells you exactly what you need to grow each item. So again, that's just a quick little quick pop in to check in on my seed catalog. Hopefully, I'll have one from Haas Tools and Baker Seed here soon, and I'll be loving to show you guys those too. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and having a great day at A Brodacious Life.